My husband and my best friend were having a 6-year affair. I exposed them at a family barbecue and found out they're related. Now everyone's in therapy. Am I the a-hole? For background, I, 31F, have been married to Derek, 34M, for 6 years. My former best friend Vanessa, 30F, has been in my life since middle school. We've been inseparable for almost 20 years. When I met Derek in college, Vanessa was initially standoffish about him. After a few awkward group hangouts, she suddenly did a complete 180 and insisted we would be perfect together. She practically orchestrated our first date. In hindsight, I should have questioned why she pushed us together so hard, but I was young and stupidly trusted her. Fast forward to 3 months ago. I came home early from a business trip, canceled meeting, and heard the shower running upstairs. I figured Derek was home early too, so I crept up to surprise him. What I heard through the bathroom door made my blood run cold, a woman's laughter. Not just any woman. Vanessa's laugh. I'd know it anywhere. I didn't confront them immediately. Instead, I quietly backed away, got in my car, and drove around for hours until I knew she would be gone. Why didn't I burst in? I honestly don't know. Shock, maybe. Or some pathetic part of me didn't want to see it with my own eyes. When I finally returned home, I acted normal, Academy Award-worthy performance, truly. For the next few weeks, I became a detective in my own marriage. I installed a hidden camera in our bedroom, legal in my state in your own home, checked credit card statements, and even hired a PI with money from my personal savings. What I discovered wasn't just an affair. It was a whole secret life. Derek and Vanessa had been sleeping together since before he and I started dating. Their relationship never stopped. The PI discovered they had a whole routine. They would meet at a motel when I had girls' nights with my other friends, which Vanessa would often help plan. And she had a key to our house. There were hidden text chains, a secret email account, and even a joint credit card I never knew about. But here's the real kicker, Derek's entire family knew. All of them. His parents, his siblings, even his fucking grandma knew he was maintaining relationships with both of us. And they all covered for him. The evidence was overwhelming and devastating. Pictures, videos, text conversations spanning years. The PI even caught them having lunch with Derek's parents where they were all laughing and looking at what appeared to be vacation brochures. A vacation they never mentioned to me. I decided to confront Derek during his family's annual Memorial Day barbecue. I wasn't planning a public showdown initially, but that changed when I arrived. The barbecue incident. The moment I walked into my in-laws' backyard, I knew something was off. Everyone got weirdly quiet, then overly cheerful. Derek's mom hugged me a beat too long, his sisters avoided eye contact. Then I saw her, Vanessa, standing by the pool in a bikini I had given her for her birthday last year, drinking and laughing with Derek's brother like she belonged there more than I did. Derek came over, kissed me on the cheek, and whispered, "Be nice. She's going through a rough time and needed support." The audacity. I grabbed a drink and observed. The way his family interacted with her was so natural, so familiar. Derek's nieces and nephews called her Auntie V. His mother had her arm around her at one point. Meanwhile, I was getting the polite "oh, you're here too" treatment from everyone. After an hour of this bizarre parallel universe experience, Derek's father Frank, 62M, clinked his glass for a toast. "To family," he said, "both blood and chosen." He looked directly at Vanessa while saying chosen, and I swear to God, he winked. That's when I snapped. I stood up and said, "I'd like to make a toast too." Derek immediately tried to stop me. "Honey, maybe later." "No, I insist," I said, my voice surprisingly steady. "To secrets. And how they always find their way to the surface." The yard got quiet. Derek's mom tried to redirect by announcing the burgers were ready, but I was beyond stopping. "I know about you and Vanessa," I said, looking straight at Derek. "I know it's been going on since before you and I even started dating." I know everyone here has been covering for you both for years. Vanessa dropped her drink. Derek turned white as a sheet. Then I did something I hadn't planned. I pulled out my phone and connected it to the Bluetooth speaker system. I played a recording from just last week, Derek and Vanessa in our bed, talking after sex about how they would eventually end up together once he found the right time to leave me. In the recording, Vanessa asked, "What about the barbecue next week? Is she coming?" And Derek replied, "Yeah, unfortunately. Dad insisted we keep appearances up a little longer." "Don't worry, soon it'll just be family and you there." The absolute silence that followed was deafening. Then Frank, this 6 feet 2 inches former military man, stormed over to me and grabbed my phone. "That's enough," he bellowed. "You're making a fool of yourself." I was expecting support from someone, anyone. Maybe Derek's sister Emma, who had always been kind to me, or his cousin Rachel, who had confided in me about her own husband's affair last year. But no one said a word. That's when Frank decided to twist the knife. "Everyone knows about them," he said, gesturing between Derek and Vanessa. "We've been waiting years for Derek to settle this situation. Vanessa has been part of this family since they were teenagers. You were just..." He paused, a temporary arrangement that went on too long. The collective gasp from the extended family members who apparently weren't in on the secret was audible. Derek's Aunt Martha covered her teenage daughter's ears. His cousin Timothy started filming on his phone, which would later become crucial evidence. "Dad, shut up," Derek hissed, but Frank was on a roll. "What? She knows now. Everyone knows. You've been stringing her along while you and Vanessa figured out your lives. It's time she accepted reality and moved on gracefully." Frank turned to address the entire gathering. "My son has been trying to find the right time to end this marriage for years. He and Vanessa are meant to be together, they always have been." I looked at Derek, waiting for him to defend me, to say anything. He just stared at his shoes. But here's where it gets wild. Vanessa, apparently emboldened by Frank's confession, walked over and put her arm around Derek. "I'm sorry you had to find out this way," she said with fake sympathy dripping from her voice. "But honestly, did you really think someone like Derek would choose you long-term? We've been together since high school. This marriage was just a phase he needed to get through." I felt like I was in some twisted alternate reality. A phase? "We've been married for 6 years. And we've been sleeping together for 10, she replied coolly. "Including the night before your wedding." That revelation knocked the wind out of me. The night before our wedding, Vanessa had stayed with me in the hotel suite. She'd claimed she went out for ice around midnight and got lost in the hotel for almost an hour. Then came the bombshell that nearly broke me. Vanessa smiled and said, "Should we tell her about the baby, babe?" Derek's head snapped up. His face confirmed it before his words did. "You're pregnant?" I whispered. Vanessa nodded, placing her hand on her still flat stomach. 12 weeks. We were going to tell everyone today. That's why the whole family is here. I suddenly realized this barbecue wasn't just the annual Memorial Day gathering. This was meant to be an announcement party. For them. And I had been invited as what, a courtesy? One last hurrah before they publicly discarded me? "That's why Dad wanted you to know now," Derek finally spoke. "The baby changes things. We need to move forward." The realization hit me like a truck. "So I'm being dumped, at a barbecue, in front of your entire family, who all knew about your affair, on the day you're announcing you're having a baby with my best friend." Derek had the audacity to look annoyed. "This isn't how we wanted to do this." "Oh, I'm sorry, is this inconvenient for you?" I was screaming now, tears streaming down my face. "How would you have preferred to destroy my life?" That's when Frank decided to really show what an absolute monster he is. He stepped between us and said loudly enough for everyone to hear, "You were never able to give him children. Vanessa can. It's natural selection." The fertility issues we'd been having for the past 3 years had been deeply private and painful. I'd had 2 miscarriages that devastated me. For Frank to throw that in my face publicly was the cruelest blow yet. But then came the twist no one saw coming, not even me. Derek's mother Eleanor, who had been silently watching this entire spectacle, suddenly threw her glass of wine in Frank's face. "What the hell is wrong with you?" she screamed at her husband. "What kind of people have we become?" The yard went silent again. Eleanor had always been the quiet, supportive wife. In 35 years of marriage, I'd never heard her raise her voice. "I went along with this for too long," she continued, her voice shaking. "I told myself it was just young people sorting out their lives. But this? This? Humiliating this poor girl in front of everyone? Throwing her infertility in her face? I don't even recognize you, Frank." Frank sputtered, wine dripping down his shocked face. "Eleanor, you agreed." "I never agreed to this cruelty," she cut him off. Then she turned to Derek. "And you? I raised you better than this. Having an affair is bad enough, but with her best friend? 4 years? Living a double life? I'm ashamed to call you my son right now." She walked over and put her arm around me. "I am so sorry," she whispered. "I should have stopped this long ago." That's when Derek's teenage niece Zoe stood up. "Is this why you made me lie to Auntie last Christmas, Uncle Derek? When you and Vanessa were in the guest room and told me to say you were helping Dad with the car?" The floodgates opened. Suddenly family members were confessing all the times they'd been asked to cover, to lie, to misdirect. Some knew the full extent, others had only been aware something was off but went along with it. Vanessa tried to salvage the situation. "We're in love. Sometimes love is complicated. You all understood that. Love isn't making a fool of someone for years." Derek's sister Emma finally spoke up. "I kept your secret because I thought it would be over quickly. Not this. This is just cruel." Derek's cousin Timothy was still filming. "This is going on the family YouTube channel for sure," he muttered, earning a slap on the arm from his wife. Then came another shock. Vanessa's parents arrived. They'd apparently been invited to the announcement and were fashionably late. They walked into this chaos completely unaware. "What's going on?" Vanessa's mother asked, looking around at the tense scene. I turned to her, calmly now. "Your daughter has been sleeping with my husband since before our wedding. She's pregnant with his child. The entire family knew except me. Oh, and apparently I was invited here today to be publicly humiliated and discarded." Vanessa's mother looked at her daughter in disbelief. "Tell me this isn't true." Vanessa actually rolled her eyes. "Mom, you knew Derek and I dated in high school. We never really broke up. We just added her to the situation temporarily." Her father, a usually gentle man, turned a shade of purple I've never seen on a human being. "We raised you to be many things, Vanessa, but cruel wasn't one of them." Then came the most unexpected revelation of all. Vanessa's mother turned to Frank. "Did you orchestrate this whole thing? Like you did with us 30 years ago?" The collective confusion was palpable. "What are you talking about, Mom?" Vanessa asked. Her mother's eyes never left Frank's face. "Ask your father why he was so invested in your relationship with Derek. Ask him why he pushed it so hard all these years." Frank's face drained of all color. "Patricia, don't." But Patricia was done keeping secrets. "Frank and I had an affair when Eleanor and he were first married. He promised to leave her for me. When I got pregnant with you, Vanessa, he convinced me to marry Robert instead and pretend the timing worked out. Robert has raised you as his own, never knowing the truth. If I thought the yard was silent before, this was a whole new level of shock. Frank is your biological father, Vanessa. Which makes Derek your half-brother." And that's when people started screaming. Derek ran to the bushes and threw up. Vanessa collapsed into a patio chair. Eleanor looked like she'd been shot. That's not possible, Vanessa whispered, but the horrified recognition was dawning on her face. The similar eyes, the same distinctive laugh, the weird specific food preferences they shared. All these years, everyone had just said they were so in sync. Frank was stammering denials, but his face told the truth. Patricia pulled out her phone, tapped a few times, and held it up. I have the DNA test from last year. I was going to take this secret to my grave, but I can't let history repeat itself. This sick obsession with keeping connections in this family has to stop. I stood in the middle of this nuclear-level family implosion, strangely calm now. I walked over to Derek, who was still heaving by the bushes. I want a divorce, I said quietly. And I want you out of the house by tomorrow. He nodded weakly, unable to even look at me. I turned to Vanessa, who was crying in her mother's arms, the full horror of what she'd done. And who she'd done it with, sinking in. I hope you get therapy, I told her. For the baby's sake. As I was walking out, Eleanor caught up with me. Where will you go? She asked, genuine concern in her voice. I don't know, I admitted. But anywhere is better than here. She pressed her car keys into my hand. Take my car. Go to the lake house. No one's there, and the fridge is fully stocked. The code is your wedding date. She hugged me tightly. I am so sorry. I'll call you tomorrow. As I drove away, my phone exploded with texts and calls. Derek's siblings expressing shock and support. Friends who had been at the barbecue spreading the news. Even Timothy, sending me the video in case you need it for the divorce. It's been 5 days. I'm still at the lake house. Eleanor has called daily with updates on the aftermath. Derek and Vanessa have both been hospitalized, him for acute stress response, her for concerns about the pregnancy after the shock. Frank had a minor heart attack the day after the barbecue and is now facing a family who wants nothing to do with him. DNA tests have been ordered. Lawyers have been called. And me? I'm strangely at peace. The humiliation was horrific, the betrayal beyond words. But at least now I know the truth. All of it. So Reddit, AITA for exposing my husband's affair at the family barbecue, even though it led to the nuclear destruction of an entire family's worth of carefully maintained secrets and lies? Edit, holy shit, this blew up. Thank you for all the support. Edit 2, to answer some common questions. Yes, I've already contacted a divorce attorney. Eleanor, surprisingly, recommended her friend who's apparently a shark. No, Derek and Vanessa are not actually half-siblings. The DNA test Patricia was referring to was one she had done privately to confirm Frank was Vanessa's biological father. Derek is Eleanor and Frank's biological son. Yes, the baby is definitely Derek's according to them both, though given the circumstances, I wouldn't take their word for anything. For those concerned about my safety, I'm not alone anymore. My sister arrived yesterday and is staying with me at the lake house. Timothy did indeed post part of the video to the family's private chat, but thankfully not publicly. The divorce lawyer has a copy now. Edit 3. For everyone asking if this is real, I wish with every fiber of my being it wasn't. If I were creative enough to make this up, I'd be writing for HBO instead of living it. Edit 4. Frank's famous barbecue sauce recipe that some of you asked for is just sweet baby rays mixed with bourbon and brown sugar. The man is a fraud in every possible way. Edit 5. Eleanor just called. She's filing for divorce too. Apparently this wasn't Frank's first family arrangement. We're meeting for lunch tomorrow. Life is strange. Edit 6. Since many have asked, yes, Robert, the man who raised Vanessa, has been told everything. He's devastated but said biology doesn't make a father. He's standing by Vanessa despite everything. That man is a saint.